Welcome, everyone. If you look back at the history of data centers, every once in a long while, a shift comes along that just forces us to completely rip up the rulebook. Well, we are right in the middle of one of those shifts today. We're looking at the deployment of large language models at scale, and honestly, this represents without a doubt the single most significant disruption to network design since the advent of server virtualization. So today's explainer is going to focus entirely on Chapter 3 of a fantastic 12-part tutorial titled The Modern Data Center, Networking in the AI Age. We're going to break down exactly how the rise of AI is just fundamentally transforming network traffic.
Our deep dive today comes straight from an expert technical tutorial provided by Virtualization Options LLC. They're a Colorado-based technology research, education, and advisory organization. We are anchoring our entire deconstruction of AI networking today right in their Chapter 3 analysis. We're only discussing what's covered in this specific chapter, which meticulously maps out exactly why traditional networks just absolutely buckle under the weight of artificial intelligence. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, the AI traffic disruption. Second, forms of parallelism. Third, the connectivity hierarchy. Fourth, the anatomy of a collective. And finally, number 5, the tyranny of the tail.
All right, starting with Section 1, the AI traffic disruption. Let's see exactly why AI breaks standard network designs.
175 billion. That is the number of parameters in the original GP3 model. To train a model of this immense scale, you have to coordinate tens of thousands of GPU accelerators. And here's the kicker. They aren't just working independently. No, they have to work in incredibly tight synchrony across weeks or sometimes even months of continuous, nonstop computation. It's a massive undertaking.
And this dynamic perfectly illustrates the core of the problem. Traditional networking? Well, it's always been optimized for throughput and availability. We just wanted maximum data moving with the highest possible uptime. But AI training demands something entirely different. It optimizes for collective communication latency and bisection bandwidth uniformity. Basically, that means the network has to guarantee massive, equal data capacity between literally any 2 points in the entire cluster. So every single assumption embedded in conventional network design, things like variable path latency or acceptable packet drops, is completely invalidated by distributed machine learning workloads.
Moving right along to Section 2, forms of parallelism and their 3 distinct traffic patterns.
Now, what's really interesting here is that modern, large-scale training utilizes 3 simultaneous competing forms of parallelism, and your fabric has to support all 3 traffic patterns at once without one degrading the other. First up is data parallelism. This involves replicating the model across multiple GPUs and requires massive gradient all-reduce operations. Essentially, you're synchronizing the learning across every chip. These are large bandwidth-hungry transfers that demand really high bisection bandwidth. Second, we have tensor parallelism. This splits individual matrix operations across GPUs within a single node or a rack. These generate very frequent, very small messages that need ultra-low latency. And finally, expert parallelism, which routes computation to specialized networks. This creates highly variable, super unpredictable all-to-all traffic patterns. So the network has to serve all 3 of these distinct, almost biologic-like traffic patterns at the exact same time. It's quite the juggling act.
Let's move to Section 3, the connectivity hierarchy. This is where we map those traffic patterns directly to the physical fabric. To handle all this, AI infrastructure has evolved into a strict 3-layer hierarchy. First is scale-up connectivity. This happens inside a single node, handling that ultra-low latency tensor parallelism we just talked about. This space is dominated by NVIDIA's NVLink, providing a staggering 1.8 terabits per second of aggregate bandwidth. It's essentially an extension of the PCI bus, so it's entirely invisible to the external network. Second is scale-out connectivity. This is your cluster-level, packet-switched fabric. Historically, this has been dominated by InfiniBand because of its lossless transport, though Ethernet with ROS-CV2 is heavily competing here now. This layer handles the massive data parallelism. And finally, scale across. Because a massive AI cluster can just straight up exceed a single facility's electrical power limit, training jobs increasingly have to span multiple campuses, connected by high-speed optical transport. If you conflate these 3 physical boundaries, you are going to end up with misapplied hardware and incredibly painful systemic performance problems.
Let's jump into Section 4, Anatomy of a Collective. This right here is the real heartbeat of the system.
The fundamental reason AI training completely breaks traditional networks is something called the all-reduce barrier. During a training step, all participating GPUs have to exchange their locally computed gradients with every other GPU. Think of this like a giant convoy. The collective operation does not complete until the absolute slowest participant finishes.
If even a single degraded optical transceiver or maybe a misconfigured buffer causes one flow to stall, the entire 10,000 GPU cluster stalls right along with it. The network literally only runs at the speed of its worst-performing, slowest link.
We can actually surgically deconstruct this heartbeat using the popular ring-all-reduce algorithm so we can see exactly how it builds. It happens logically in a very precise sequence. Step 1 is reduce scatter. The GPUs are logically arranged in a ring, and each GPU sends a chunk of its gradient to its neighbor. Step 2 is partial accumulation. As those chunks are passed along, each GPU builds intermediate mathematical sums locally. Then step 3, all gather. These accumulated partial sums are then distributed back around the ring. And finally, step 4, the final state. Every single GPU now holds the completely identical, fully reduced gradient. So as you can see, it's not just black box AI magic, it's an incredibly precise, highly orchestrated sequence of point-to-point message transfers.
But, of course, this precise orchestration has a massive vulnerability, and it's known as incast. Imagine many GPUs completing their computation phase at the exact same millisecond. They all attempt to send their data to the exact same destination switch port simultaneously. The resulting traffic burst acts just like a flash flood, immediately overwhelming shallow switch buffers. Packets are dropped, retransmissions are triggered, and that carefully synchronized collective heartbeat we just walked through, it comes to a grinding, absolute halt. Which brings us to our final section today, Section 5, the tyranny of the tail. 0.1%. Now, in a traditional enterprise network, a 0.1% packet loss rate is often considered completely acceptable background noise, right? TCP handles it, and the user never even knows. It's kind of like the minor frustration of a buffering streaming video. You just largely ignore it. But in an AI training fabric, a 0.1% packet loss is a total disaster at a multi-million-dollar scale.
So, the crucial point here is that because of that convoy effect we discussed earlier, even a minuscule 0.1% packet loss rate can stall the training barrier long enough to reduce your overall cluster throughput by 10 to 30%. I mean, really think about the economics of that for a second. You are literally wasting 10 to 30% of your incredibly expensive GPU compute cycles, all because the network dropped a fraction of a percent of its packets. This transforms network reliability from a basic uptime metric into a direct measurement of GPU utilization. Lossless transport isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It is an absolute, non-negotiable architectural requirement for AI.
Well, that wraps up our explainer of Chapter 3 from Virtualization Options LLC's tutorial. I really hope this deep dive leaves you eager to master the rest of the series and dig even deeper into the physical engineering of the AI age. As this era continues to scale up, you really have to ask yourself, is your network simply optimized for general uptime, or is it specifically engineered for mathematically guaranteed lossless collective synchronization? Because in the modern data center, your GPUs are only ever going to be as fast as your slowest network link.